All right, guys, we're getting back to basics with this video here. This is going to be just a conventional push-up. I am a huge stickler for full range of motion on push-ups. In fact, just to make sure that the bill of the hat doesn't get in the way, we can turn that around. Push-up. We're finding a comfortable position for your hands first. I see people who are starting out for the first time learning push-ups. I see them with their hands like way out here, and they're barely moving. What I always tell people is a little bit outside of your normal shoulder width, right? The shoulder width we might get a little bit constricted. You go outside of that a little bit. That's just going to allow a nice free movement at your shoulders to get down. So I'm going to go right outside of shoulders. Now, hopefully at this point you have done some planking. Your core is relatively strong because when we pop up into our starting position, what I don't want to see is a big arch in the back here, and that whenever you drop down, you leave your butt behind. We take our butt with us, always. You never know when you might need it. So, push up. Just like always, we're stacking the cylinders and our ribs and our hips, keeping a nice neutral posture there. And now, I'm going to move my elbows, or I'm going to let my elbows drop at what I call a 45. What do I mean by that? If we're calling this 0 degrees out, right, look at the angle of my arms. This is 90 degrees out-ish. 45, right in between those two. That way our elbows aren't going straight out to the side, and we're not keeping them tucked in here. Nothing wrong with this necessarily. This is just going to be a little bit more tricep focused whenever our push-up is made to be a mix of tricep, chest, and shoulder. So that 45 is right in between here and here. All right? Hands outside of the shoulders. Core is tight. We're up on our toes. That 45 degrees. Now, again, that full range of motion. I am going the whole way down until my chest touches the floor. If your chest doesn't touch the floor, it doesn't count. From here, I push straight back up to the top. And again, I'm not leaving my butt behind. I see so many people, chest comes down, they go back up. Chest comes down, they go back up. Their butt doesn't move at all. We're keeping that with us. We go the whole way down, whole way back up. Just the same, I don't want to see a butt way up in the air like this and half repping and doing this kind of crap, trying to do them. This push-ups are tough. It's a difficult movement for people to learn. It takes training, it takes practice to be able to be strong enough to keep your body tight, go the whole way down, whole way back up. Rather than cheat your reps, let's start you out with a regressed version of it. It's a little bit easier. One of these is our controlled negative. I said in another video before, the negative portion of the rep where you're moving with gravity is always the easier portion. So maybe pushing out of the bottom of that push-up for me with my chest on the floor is tough. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my good position here at the top, and I'm just going to control as slow as I can. We're talking 5-10 seconds down until my chest is on the floor. And then I can get back up however I need to, rocking back, pop back up to the top. Again, just focused on the slowest control that I possibly can all the way down to the floor. While I was doing that, something popped into my head that I did want to specify with you guys is the hand position. My hands are not in front of my face. They're not down here below my shoulders, or behind my shoulders rather. They are going to be directly below my shoulders. I'm going to stack my arms in a vertical line. So again, we're not here. We're not in here. Both of those are going to be tough on your shoulders. Again, put a little bit of tension on there that we don't like. Keep that nice vertical alignment. Down to the floor, straight back up. So I showed you guys the slow negatives. Another way that you can regress these a little bit is to use a bench or some kind of elevated surface. So I'll set this up here. My hands are on the bench now. Now what we've done here is we have taken that vertical component out of this a little bit, right? So rather than lowering myself straight down, so to speak, I'm now lowering myself on an angle. So my weight feels a little bit lighter than it would if I was going straight down to the floor. But it's the same thing, right? My hands are a little bit outside shoulders, kind of stacked right over top. Lowering down all the way until my chest touches. Cheaters. Pushing back up. All the way down until my chest touches. Pushing back up. And guys, maybe these are still challenging for you. Same thing, right? We do that slow, controlled negative. Down to the chest touches. Knees drop down. We get back up into our top position. Slow down. Pop back up. Now, you may have seen someone before who maybe they practice their push-ups by going from their knees. I don't like those as much just because the length of your body is kind of what sets up the correct positioning for the push-up to be an effective movement. When you shorten your body, the line of tension is just a little bit different, and I don't love that positioning, right? So rather than having this kind of like weird pushing angle, just the difference from right there to right here, the length of my body from my force push, my point of force to my pivot point, the lever arm is just on a different angle. And I like this angle more than I like this one. So that's why I don't normally coach the kneeling push-up. Doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with it, but just these are kind of the ways that I like to regress it whenever I'm teaching someone. So if you guys have ever struggled with push-ups, now you know how to get better at them.